Why do most people seem to fade after age 80? Even if you were sharp and in good shape a few years ago, things often start to go downhill at this age. Many people think that changes in the body after age 80 are purely down to genes or luck. But there is more to it than that. In this video, we take a deep dive into 5 overlooked, rarely mentioned reasons why many older people have trouble living longer or staying healthy after age 80. These reasons are not the usual diet, smoking, or exercise issues, but deeper, hidden factors that can quietly affect you even if you have a healthy lifestyle in the past. But the good news is that once you know about them, you can do something about them. If you have ever wondered what exactly is getting in the way of longevity after age 80 and how to prevent it, then watch this video carefully. These 5 unexpected reasons may help you change your aging trajectory before it is too late. Now, let's get started. 1. Loss of microsocial interactions. One of the first and most overlooked reasons why many seniors don't live long after age 80 is the disappearance of what experts call microsocial interactions. This doesn't mean deep friendships or family gatherings, although these are equally important. Microsocial interactions refer to those small moments of communication that once filled our daily lives, so small that we didn't even notice them. Think about how you used to say hello to the mailman, joke with the cashier at the grocery store, or nod to a neighbor walking his dog on the street. These seemingly insignificant moments of contact not only make us feel good, but also regulate our nervous system and enhance our sense of belonging, keeping the brain's social network sharp and active. However, after age 80, many seniors stop shopping in person and choose to shop online or have family members do it for them. They stop chatting with strangers because their hearing is declining, or they stop going for a walk because the weather is a little cold and their knees are unsteady. When these small social touchpoints disappear, people's vitality dissipates. Interestingly, most people don't notice the change. They think they are simplifying their lives, but they are unknowingly cutting back on the low-level social interactions that stimulate brain function, boost mood, and let the body know that it is still part of the living world. In fact, improving this situation is not complicated. I know an 80-year-old man who goes to the same coffee shop every morning, greets the clerk, and nods to 3 old acquaintances on the street corner. These 5 minutes of interpersonal interaction are not just a simple routine, but the lifeblood of his life. It gives the old man meaning in his daily life, makes him feel responsible, and makes him feel cared for. From a biological perspective, when this social interaction is missing, the brain will respond to loneliness. Whether it is intense loneliness or subtle loneliness, loneliness, as a stressor, changes hormone levels, causes inflammation, and weakens immunity. More importantly, it causes the neural networks in the brain responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation to shrink. To put it bluntly, this will make you feel older faster. So, do you find yourself communicating less with people during the day? Do you no longer run errands, make small talk, or even feel invisible in your community? It's time to make a change, because these seemingly insignificant moments of communication are silently sending a message to your brain and body. You are still important and you are still closely connected to the outside world. This message is a powerful medicine to maintain vitality, not only for the length of life, but also for the state of mind. 2. Inactivity caused by excessive caution. There is another subtle reason why many people's health declines after the age of 80. On the surface, this reason seems sensible, that is caution. However, there is a fine line between caution and excessive caution. Once this line is crossed, the consequences may not be immediately obvious, but the impact will be cumulative. This situation often comes from some good intentions. Maybe you slipped on the stairs or almost lost your balance on the sidewalk, so you decided to reduce the number of walks outside, stop bending over to reach low shelves, and stop struggling to climb into the back seat of the car. Choose to sit more often, and sit for a long time. People around you may even praise your caution and advise you to take it easy. Before you know it, you have created a seemingly safe but lifeless living environment. But people often overlook one point. Once you stop moving, your body's strength will also disappear. The strength mentioned here not only includes the strength of the legs and arms, but also involves coordination, balance and internal body stability. The human body is not a machine that can be kept running efficiently by resting. It is more like a garden that needs to be constantly tended. When the amount of activity is reduced to a very low level, the body's functions will not remain the same, but will gradually decline. One of the first parts to be affected is the core muscles. Most people don't realize that these muscles located deep in the torso are essential for daily activities such as standing, walking, lifting objects, and even getting up from a chair. If you don't use these muscles for even a few weeks, they will atrophy. When the core muscles atrophy, the sense of balance deteriorates, and the body begins to shake, which sets off a vicious cycle. I know an 82-year-old man named Walter. He slipped on a rainy day. Fortunately, he didn't break any bones, but he was just scared. But the shock changed his lifestyle forever, and he went from walking a mile every night to sitting on the couch most nights watching TV. In just 6 months, he lost 10 pounds of muscle and his legs became weak. The doctor warned him, but the damage was done. Walter didn't stop exercising because he was weak. On the contrary, he stopped exercising. I'm not telling you to ignore potential risks. You can take sensible precautions, such as using handrails, wearing stable shoes, clearing paths, and using a cane when necessary. But there is a fundamental difference between managing risks and giving in to them. When fear dominates your actions, the body gradually forgets how to move normally. So if you find yourself moving less, not because your body won't allow you to, but because you're afraid of something happening, it's important to pay attention. Ask yourself, am I protecting myself, or am I slowly losing my vitality? Life after 80 is not just about avoiding falls, but about staying active, even if it requires more care, slowness, and caution. Exercise makes the body aware that it is still needed, keeps the bodhi systems functioning normally, keeps the brain alert, and keeps the heart beating vigorously. 3. Irregular light exposure disrupts the sleep cycle. There is a silent clock inside the human body that does not tick, but it controls every aspect of our lives, such as emotions, metabolism, immune system, and even the brain's self-repair process at night. After the age of 80, this internal clock, called the biological clock, becomes particularly sensitive. An important cause of biological clock disorders is insufficient light during the day and too much light at night. At first, you may not notice this change. Maybe you start sleeping more during the day and napping in the afternoon sun, or you don't go out as much, especially in cold months. At night, you may turn on the TV, or keep the lights on when reading or watching movies until late. These seemingly harmless changes actually interfere with the body's judgment of wakefulness and rest time. The human body relies on natural light to maintain its physiological rhythm. Bright light in the morning tells your brain it's time to get up and move around, allowing your body to move energy where it's needed. Darkness at night prompts your body to release melatonin, a gentle hormone that helps you fall into a deep, restorative sleep. But when your eyes don't get enough natural light during the day and are exposed to bright artificial light from screens or lamps at night, your body's internal signals get mixed up. As a result, you may find it hard to fall asleep or stay asleep, feel groggy after waking up even after 8 hours of sleep, and feel less energetic during the day and less able to remember things. Over time, disrupted sleep can have more than just a loss of energy. It can weaken your immune system, affect your mood, and even increase your risk of cognitive decline. Vitamin D synthesis is also closely linked to light exposure. After age 80, your skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D declines, making regular outdoor light exposure even more critical. Without vitamin D, your bones, muscles, and immune system are all affected. I spoke to 84-year-old Helen, who was feeling increasingly tired and hazy. Her blood work was normal, her diet wasn't changed, and she wasn't taking any new medications. Then her doctor recommended that she draw the curtains, sit by a window for 20 minutes every morning, and turn off screens an hour before bed. In just 2 weeks, her sleep quality, memory, and mood improved. It wasn't a new drug that changed her life. It was light. So if you spend most of your time indoors with the curtains drawn and spend a lot of time at night exposed to blue light from your phone or TV, it's time to make a change. Try to get outside within an hour of waking up, even if it's just for a few minutes on the porch, so your eyes and skin can get the morning sun. At night, dim the lights to prepare your body for rest and relaxation. These seemingly simple rhythms are not only for your comfort, but they are also key to maintaining your health. Many people don't realize that the body ages not only from the wear and tear of time, but also from the disruption of physiological systems. Restoring normal light, regular sleep, and daily rhythms is the secret to getting your body back in order. It's like telling your body that even at 85, we still have our routines, we still have our energy, and we still live well. 4. Emotional repression due to loss and loneliness. Many people reach the age of 80 and have experienced more losses than young people can imagine. They may have lost their spouses, siblings, lifelong friends, and even their children. The outside world may politely express sympathy, but people rarely realize that the impact of these losses not only stays in memory, but is also deeply imprinted in the body. After the age of 80, people often face not only sadness, but also emotional repression. Slowly, people get used to burying their pain deep in their hearts instead of expressing it, choosing to pretend to be strong, either thinking that they should have gotten used to these losses long ago, or that no one around them can truly understand the depth of this pain. But the fact is that when sadness is not processed, expressed, shared, and fully felt, the body will not forget it. These emotions do not disappear out of thin air, but are stored. Over time, these emotional burdens will turn into physical burdens, begin to affect the immune system, digestive system, and sleep quality, change hormone levels, and keep the nervous system in a state of tension. The most frustrating thing is that this change is difficult to detect from the outside. You may look calm and even say it's okay, but if your shoulders unconsciously grow heavy, your breathing becomes shallow, the light in your eyes gradually dims, and you feel like you are no longer yourself, even if you haven't mentioned it for years. Sadness may be the culprit behind it. I remember George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years. He rarely cried, said he was not used to showing emotions, and claimed that everything was fine. However, within a year, he lost weight, stopped going to the senior activity center, and began to suffer from insomnia. This was not due to illness, but because his body was carrying too much unreleased sadness. This shows that even if emotional pain is not intense, it can cause damage to health. And when health problems occur, people often find it difficult to connect them with emotions. Those who are still healthy and long-lived after the age of 80 often rely not only on physical strength but also on emotional catharsis. They need a safe and open way to release sadness, fear and desire. They can say I miss her, I'm still angry, I feel lonely without being blamed for it. This emotional release allows the mind to breathe again. When the mind is free, the body can recover better. That's why people who live longer often have an outlet for their emotions. That outlet might be a trusted friend, a journal, a religious faith, a community group, or even a counselor who helps people sort through decades of emotional stories. Whatever the form, the principle behind it is the same. Emotions expressed are transformed, while suppressed emotions fester. So if you've been suppressing certain emotions, not because you want to, but because you don't know how to release them, now's the time to make room for them. This is not only for your own emotional health, but also for the continuation of life. Because the fact is that the mind has a limited capacity to bear, and you need to let your emotions out before it quietly shuts down. If you want to not only live after 80, but also live a wonderful life, then don't suppress your emotions. 5. The gradual loss of a sense of daily purpose. Another subtle reason why many people have trouble staying in good shape after 80 is that the sense of daily purpose we are accustomed to is quietly disappearing. I'm not talking about life goals in the grand philosophical sense, but simple goals that get you out of bed in the morning with something to do, somewhere to go, and someone to see. Goals don't have to be earth-shattering. They can be watering the plants before the sun gets too hot, feeding the stray cats waiting outside the door, writing a letter to your granddaughter, or fixing the hinges on the back door. But when these little daily habits fade, when there's no motivation to get up in the morning and nothing to remember when the night falls, something inside quietly dies. The body follows the brain's instructions, and when the brain sees no reason to move forward, the body slacks off, appetite drops, movement slows, and the systems that once kept the body healthy begin to stagnate, not because they're broken, but because they're waiting for a signal to restart. Changes are easy to miss because they're gradual. Maybe the weekly bridge game is cancelled. Maybe the church group doesn't meet anymore. Maybe family visits are less frequent. Or maybe the volunteer work you once did ends. When your knees start to ache, you tell yourself it's a normal part of aging. But deep down, you can feel the days becoming mundane, each day more silent than the last. I once met Ruth, who was 88 years old and more active than most people her age. She wasn't rich, or in great health, or surrounded by a large family, but she had one daily ritual that she never changed. Every Monday, she wrote postcards to the disabled members of her church. Every Thursday, she made soup and froze it to give to the local shelter. Every afternoon, around 4 p.m., she sat by the window and watched the neighborhood kids come home from school. She knew their names, waved, and they waved back. These things weren't dramatic, but they gave her life texture, a rhythm, and continuity. That's the secret to longevity. As long as the body feels needed, it stays active. Even the smallest goals are like fuel, fueling cells to repair, organs to keep working, and the brain to keep learning. When you lose that sense of being needed, when you feel like your existence is no longer important to anyone or anything, the flame of life begins to dim. That's why people who live gracefully and energetically into their 80s usually have something that sustains them. It could be a garden, a pet, a journal, a regular phone call, or a simple morning prayer. It's not the size of the task that matters, it's the persistence of it. What matters is that when you open your eyes in the morning, you know you have a reason to get up. So if you've been feeling a little lost lately, that your days have lost direction and meaning, don't ignore it. It's not just sadness, it's a sign from your body that it's craving the rhythm, order, connection, and purpose of life. After all, longevity is not just about having a beating heart, it's about having a heart that's hungry for life, for connection, for still being relevant. It's this zest for life that keeps people going into their 80s and on their way to a fulfilling life. Final thoughts. As I draw to a close on this video, I want to share with you a simple but powerful fact. The decline of most people after age 80 isn't caused by a single event, not a diagnosis, a fall, or a birthday that changes everything. It's the slow, silent fading of the habits, rhythms, and sense of purpose that sustain life. These changes are often so subtle and gradual that you may not even notice them until your inner vitality has quietly waned. But the good news is that just as they happen slowly, they can also be reversed slowly. Try taking a walk outside every day, chatting with others at the store, and doing some simple stretches in the morning. Do these things today, not because you have to, but because they bring order, connection, and meaning to your life. By doing these small things, you can gradually change your situation. Which of the 5 unexpected reasons we discussed surprised you the most? Which one resonated with you? More importantly, which one are you willing to take action on, even in a small way, starting today? The truth is, you have more power than you think, not to stop aging, but to change the way you age. If you are willing to pay attention to the small changes in your life, guard your life rhythm, stick to your life goals, and face your inner emotions, you can not only live to 80, but also live a full and exciting life on your own terms. Thank you for watching this video. We love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below and share a little bit about what you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts are very important to us. Please don't hesitate to share them. It's a great motivation and encouragement for us to read your comments. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe and share it. Your support helps us continue to create great content that informs and inspires you. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.